Hello, welcome to another episode of Becoming a Powerhouse Brand. I am coming in today with a whole new energetic frequency, excitement, embodiment, like just everything has been fully activated today. Today as I'm recording this, but this will be going out tomorrow. So I have just launched my brand new website. And for me, this rebrand is different. It's hitting differently. It feels different. It's opening up opportunities already. And the reason that is because it's not been about the visuals, which all of my previous rebrands have always been about the visuals. It's been about it doesn't feel right in how it looks. It's the messaging has been off. The offers have needed an upgrade. So there's been multiple reasons for previous rebrands, and they have all been needed and been a big part of my journey. But this one was different. So this one was about really showing who I am. It was about an activation and a real, I don't know, it was like a real shift in who I am and how I'm showing up. It was really helping to bring everything together, like all the work that I've been doing since the end of 2023 when I started this journey of personal development and really understanding who I am. So I've been mentoring now for like properly, I've been mentoring for a long time because I've done the odd power hour for years, but I would say properly since the beginning of 2023 was when it really started, when it really built that momentum. I had my first full year group program, which was in 2024, doing things like my VIP days and in-person events and getting paid to speak, as well as doing multiple masterclasses inside high-level communities and spaces. So previously to that, I dabbled in doing speaking in so many different places in low-cost memberships. I was doing a lot of speaking for free, some in the right places, some not. But it was all part of my growth. It was all part of really finding what it was that I wanted to create, what message it was that I wanted to have. And I have changed and pivoted so many times. If you've been in my world for a long time, you'll have seen the journey and seen the evolution. And what I love with this is it's been about experimenting. It's been about really like leaning into what feels good and not staying in any place when it's not felt right. When something hasn't felt right, when I felt that I've lost the love for something or the creativity just wasn't there or something would just felt out of alignment. And when I talk about out of alignment, I'm talking pre-understanding what that even really meant. It was just something felt off. That was what the feeling was. So I kept making all these pivots, changing my offers, changing my pricing, changing what it was I wanted to do, changing my ideal client, doing the rebrands, doing all of that work because something always felt off. And what I hadn't realized was that the reason it felt off was because I didn't actually know who I was. I had so much noise from the outside space. I had so much information in my head because as somebody that's always been a yes girl, I always invested in myself. I always have done since I started my business. I've always invested my time and my money and my energy into learning, into growing, into really helping my business to scale. And I've always been someone that's very interested in learning how to do things better. So whether it's tech, whether it's systems, whether it is like offers, pricing, how to automate your business, like so many different things I have always invested in because I like to learn how to do it. It might be I outsource it, but I always like to know how it works so that I can then make the right decisions in terms of making those next investments in working with somebody. And I just had so much outside noise from all this information. I've had pages and pages and journals and notebooks and all of this stuff, all these masterclasses, courses, information I've received from all these different coaches I've worked with. And it almost got to the point where it was quite overwhelming. And I sort of lost the direction that I wanted to go in because I just didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was here to do. All I knew was that I was creative. I'm really heart-led, very driven. I want to help other people. I knew I wanted to work in brand. I knew like branding, brand visibility, marketing, all of that was really important to me because that has been my experience like forever. That was my job before I started being an entrepreneur. It was like, it's just what I've always done. Content, all those visuals, all that like brand positioning and everything has always been my absolute jam. So I knew I wanted it to be that, but I just could not find my niche. And as much as I felt really confident in increasing my prices and I was attracting like amazing clients, some not so amazing, But I just felt like I was almost banging my head against a brick wall. I felt like I was having to explain or justify the investment to work with me for a lot of people, because I was just talking to the wrong kind of audience. And I just, where I was dabbling in all these different places and all these different target audiences, like I just got a bit lost. And it was when I really started this journey of this sort of, I call it a spiritual awakening, because for me, it has been quite spiritual. It has opened my eyes to knowing that there's more out there. Like my very first experience of energy work was the first time I ever had Reiki, which was when I was on the wait list for back surgery for severe sciatica after more than a year of physio and going to chiropractors and being seen by all these different people, trying different medications to help with the pain. It wasn't working. I've talked about this before, but for anyone that is new around here, I just thought I would just share this because it was literally my first experience of energy work and the power behind it. Um, and as a last resort, someone said to me, like, have you tried energy work? Had never even heard of this at all. And they said, well, try Reiki. It's really, really good, like energy healing. And I went for a session. And for the first time in over a year of being in such awful pain and obviously being on the wait list for back surgery because nothing was working and they didn't know what else to do to help, had this Reiki session. And I remember coming out of there and ringing my dad in tears because I didn't have any pain. Like for the first time, I did not have any pain. It was literally like I had been healed, and I had another couple of sessions and I have not had that pain return in all those years. So that was in 2022, I think it was, maybe 2021. I think it was 2022. That was my very first experience of Reiki and energy work. And I thought, like, this is incredible. And I started to hear when I was going through this stage of my business of feeling a bit lost and not knowing what to do. So I'd experienced the energy work in terms of health and fitness and like personally, but I'd never even considered using it for my business or my growth as a business owner. Um, and when I was going through this stage in my business where I felt a bit lost, didn't really know which direction to take, I was just getting confused and overwhelmed with all the different decisions to make. And by this point as well, I was absolutely broke because I'd invested every penny I had in working with different coaches, mentors, courses, program. And I just got to the point where I'd done all these different things, said yes to everything. Nothing was really, I say nothing was working because I had got amazing results from all of them. They'd all helped to shift me. But I didn't realize that I actually had a nervous system issue. I had a mindset issue. And as much as I'd done things like money mindset, my nervous system just was not ready or able, it wasn't open to receiving the goals that I wanted. So it wasn't open to receiving the wealth or the money or the income because I had such deep rooted beliefs about money and wealth and what that meant for me, and that actually it didn't feel safe for me to have it. So my body, like everything in me, was actually repelling the very thing I was trying to call in. So that is where I was when I just felt really lost and I didn't know what direction to take. And then I started this journey, and it was really about tapping into who I was on a soul level. So I started getting into human design. I'd already heard about human design, but never really understood what it was. And I had a human design session with somebody, and it was like a light bulb moment. Everything just clicked and it made sense why certain things felt really difficult for me, why some things felt really easy, why certain methods I've been taught or understood about growing a business didn't work for me. And it it really helped to open my eyes into how I could possibly scale my business and also understand how I can create it in a way that feels really aligned to me. So I did more and more work on human design. I was reading up about it and I started making decisions based on what felt really good to me. So I am a 6-2 generator with a sacral authority. So that means for me, the 6 is the role model. So I'm here to lead. I am a born leader and I'm here to empower other people. Like that is my mission. And actually, empowerment is one of my strongest values as a brand, as an individual. And the 2 is the hermit. So I love to spend time on my own. I love having that peace and tranquility and being able to step back. So actually, this is where brand is so important for me because I need and want my brand to do the heavy lifting for my business. I don't want to be in hustle mode because actually I need to embody that line 2 just as much as the line 6 in my profile. That is totally aligned to me. And each individual will be different. So this is why I love this work, because it helps you to see a way that you can scale and grow your business in a way that feels good to you and that is natural to you. And that is when I started to do more work on this sort of soul's mission. Basically, I started learning about Akashic records, and I had an Akashic record reading, I think it was called. I actually did an episode on this, so make sure you go back and check it, because I recorded that episode the day I had my first session. So that was a really good one. I think that was one of the first episodes of series 2 of the podcast, so go and check that one. And I just did more and more of this work, and as I have grown personally, I realized that my brand and the mission that I was on, kind of, it needed an upgrade. It needed to really start to show who I was becoming, like the version of me that I'd never shown up as before. But it wasn't about just becoming, it was about a remembering. It was about stripping back those layers and really showing up as the real, authentic me that I've never actually been unknowingly until I started doing this work. As the aligned leader, like that is what I'm here to do. And I create brands for leaders who want to embody the future version of themselves, to be a stronger and better leader for their communities, for their spaces, for their memberships, like, and to impact more people. Because when you can show up as you, as your most aligned, authentic version of yourself, it's so much easier to create content, to share your mission, to speak and get your message across there. And it starts to magnetize the right opportunities and the right people to you, because people buy from people that they can trust. So if you are showing up as your most embodied, aligned, confident version of yourself, you're only going to be attracting the right people who love your energy, who love what it is that you're here to do, who love the mission that you're on, your values. Like, they just feel so called to work with you, to reach out to you, to have conversation, to connect with you. And equally, those that aren't aligned are going to be repelled by your energy, by what it is that you have to say, by, yeah, anything about your brand. And that is the whole point in your brand. You want to attract as well as repel. Now, that said, as somebody that is neurodivergent, and I'm pretty sure I'm ADHD, I am a serial overthinker, and rejection really impacts me. So I had an experience recently where I was completely gaslighted. And I'd never experienced that before. So I didn't even know what that was, but essentially that's what happened to me. And it made me doubt myself. It made me feel really uncomfortable. It made me really upset. I felt like I'd maybe done something wrong. That's essentially what gaslighting is anyway. I hadn't realized it at the time, but I just felt awful. But what I realized was, actually, this was all part of the journey. And I'm a strong believer in that the universe is always looking out for us. And this situation meant that I blocked somebody who was like a good connection. They were a friend, they were even a past client. And I actually blocked this person just for my own energy, because I just don't I don't need that kind of energy in my life. And it's really interesting, because actually, having done that, it's just lifted me in so many different ways. It's cleared energy that doesn't need to be there. My messaging, my pricing, my offers, everything about this rebrand launch has meant that people that just aren't aligned to where I'm now going are going to drop away. And that is part of it. And the thing is, it's a beautiful process, but it can, for those of you that are listening to this that maybe are neurodivergent and do struggle with rejection, it can feel tough. And I'm really proud of myself, actually, for how I've dealt with the situation, how I've kept my head up, and how I've not let it consume me, because I know that that's very easily done when you are somebody that really struggles with rejection, like I do. But actually, you just have to remember that when you are showing up as your most aligned version of yourself, anybody that doesn't like that can walk away. They can literally walk away. They can block, they can unfollow. And that doesn't need to mean anything about you when you are so true to yourself and what you're here to do, your soul's mission, like your purpose, the impact you want to create and everything. Like, I know I am here to impact the lives of others. And I love that it's a ripple effect. So every single person who feels empowered by, who is impacted by, who is activated by something I've said, a piece of content, listening to my podcast, working with me in any space, if that can go on to change that person's life, day, energy, even for just 5 minutes, that is incredible. That is such a beautiful thing. But what I love even more than that is those people that I get to impact and empower who have other communities who then go on to help other people from things that I've said or done or embodied or supported them with. Like, how incredible is that, that it creates that ripple effect? And that for me is why I stepped away from working with product businesses and creatives, because I love that it is a ripple effect. I love that I get to work with service providers who are here to empower other people, who are here to activate other people, to change their lives, to really make the world a better place. Because if we can impact the lives of others, that is literally creating so much change in the world, that is such a beautiful thing. And I just love that I get to support with that journey. So just to wrap up on this episode, I just wanted to celebrate this next level rebrand. This has just been so much more than a rebrand, and this is the work that I do. So the people I work with now are not looking for a rebrand. They are looking to create a bigger impact. They're already leading, but their brand just hasn't caught up with the level of impact and transformation that they're already creating for their clients. So that is the work that we do inside my programs and inside my rebrand experience. It's about really stepping into that next level version of yourself so that you can create that bigger impact, so that you can create those opportunities and open up doors that just weren't there before. And I just want to give you an example of this. So I launched my website today or yesterday, and already I have had an incredible speaking opportunity that is going to give me so much exposure and really help to position my brand in a way that feels really exciting. And it's just opened up this door of an opportunity that maybe wouldn't have been there before. Maybe it would, I don't know. But I like to think that it's that energetic shift. It's that deciding that you're going to show up differently, not just for you, but for the people that you're here to impact. Like, that is such an incredible thing. So anybody that comes to me who says, Jacquie, I would love to work with you. Could you help me with a rebrand? How much does it cost? What I would love that person to be asking, and the kind of people that I love to work with, are the ones, Jacquie, I want to work with you. I know that you're the person for me. When can we get started? Because it's not about the cost. It's not about the investment. It's not about the money. It's about the impact that you're here to create. Like, that is it. Because actually, when you think about it, your brand positioning, how you're showing up with the energy, the activation, like everything that is aligned, and your messaging is all aligned, your visuals, like everything is there, you're going to attract more people. So if you're someone that sells high ticket offers, how many sales do you need to get to, I want to put in quotes here, justify the investment of working on upgrading your brand? For most of my clients, it's one or two. Can you imagine how many more people you're going to be bringing into your spaces when you're actually positioning yourself as the leader that you're already being and becoming? So that is how you can start to reframe when you're making investments in yourself. It's not about the cost. It's about the outcome and the impact that is going to have for your business. And that is the work that we do inside my world. And I'm so excited. So I've got a brand new offer that is launching on the 8th of August, obviously, Lionsgate Portal, which is my upgraded next level group program. It's the only group offer that I have. And it's a real activation. So it is going to be a 3-month deep diving program, a supportive community. It's going to be a very small community, but for those women that are here to create a bigger impact, who want to scale their brand, who want to really become that aligned leader. So it's 3 months of activation, of really scaling your brand, and then 3 months of additional support afterwards. So it is a 6-month program. There is going to be a 6-month payment plan as well. If you would love to know more about it, then obviously my inbox is always open. Send me a DM, send me an email. I'll be sharing more details about it very soon. I'm launching this in a very different way. So normally I would do something like a live launch or shout about it all over the place. This is a softer launch. This is I don't know, like, I'm just going with what feels really good to me in my sacral. I'm leaning into my human design. I'm just following my intuition with this launch and doing it in a way that feels really good with zero pressure. Obviously, I'm launching in the middle of the summer holidays with 3 kids. And most mums would be like, absolutely not. I am not launching during the summer holidays because it's chaos. but I am always called to Lionsgate Portal. It's always a really powerful, impactful day for me in my business, always has been, even before I did the energy work. So I'm launching on the 8th of August and I cannot flip and wait. We're going to be starting in September. So if you would like to be one of the founding members and get access to this as part of my beta launch, then drop me a message because you might be able to get in there before I even officially open it on the 8th of August. I hope this episode has given you something to activate you, to make you feel empowered, to see how you can use your brand as a really powerful tool in your business to help you to attract all of those things that it is that you are calling in, all those things that you desire, especially for those of you that are here to lead, that are already leading, and you just want to 10x that to make a bigger impact, because your brand should be doing the heavy lifting of your business. And when I talk about your brand, I'm not just talking about the visuals. I'm talking about your presence. I'm talking about where you're showing up, how you're showing up, your visibility strategy, everything. It's all brand. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I cannot wait to hear from those of you that are ready to jump all in to my 8th of the 8th offer. Send me a message if you are interested, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. Mwah.